Good morning and welcome to the daily chapter reading of It's Your Loss, the Book of Grief. Misty watercolor memories. Nothing is ever truly lost because it lives on through us, and how you keep it going will be totally unique to you whether you talk about it all the time or remember it in private moments. Robin, I think the thing I have that reminds me most of my nan is this ring she used to wear. It has like a little diamond ring, and whenever you were out, I'd be like, go on, let me wear the diamonds, man. And so she would. So now I wear it, and it's like she's there every day. Emma, that is bloody wonderful. When my mom died, I think I put all her stuff in a literal box. Robin, you did. I wore my nan's shoes compulsively until they fell apart. Emma, and then you sort of do a mini mourn for the thing that fell apart and the memories and the person attached to the thing all over again. Robin, but if it's in the actual box, it's nice and safe and no one can get to it, like your feelings, unless the moths come. Emma on Misty watercolor memories. How to wander successfully down memory lane from the one you found it too painful to think about. So, let's say you've gone through a loss. If you've read this many chapters of a book about it, that feels like a safe assumption. And let's say you went through your loss like I did, haplessly trying to chin up and carry on, dragging the loss behind you in an iron box you've secured tightly with chains and 10 padlocks to protect yourself against it. Well, there likely to come a point in life when a little voice from inside the box starts calling out to you. And you might try to ignore it, but it keeps on talking, and then gradually the box will get closer and closer and closer until all you can hear is the voice and the clank of the padlocks bashing on your ankles. And if that sounds like a terrifying nightmare, it's because that's how I felt about the memories detached to my own loss. Terrified. Some people love to talk about and share the things they lost, but when looking at what happened feels like a threat to your emotional stability, those thoughts themselves can become a threat, and memorializing feels pretty much impossible. While for Robin that sharing felt warm and safe, for me it felt raw and dangerous. The ice burn you get after licking the freezer tray. And in fact, because you're so unaccustomed to accessing those emotions, it can feel like you're never going to get the tongue unstuck, as though you will be permanently, painfully frozen in a space that renders you incapable of doing anything else. That refusal to remember the loss itself or the good times that preceded it is the Emma's Brain Expert self-preservation technique, and it works really well if you want to spend your life with your fingers in your ears shouting la 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 at your mind. But take it from somebody who's tried it both ways. However painful those memories are, being able to look at them is better than pretending they aren't there, and you're missing out on a whole lot of peace and happiness by denying them. Because when you can't allow yourself to think of the thing you lost, you are effectively taking a black paintbrush to the masterpiece that is your experience. And that can feel like the safest thing to do. Cover it up, numb it out, make it into a nothing. But there are ways to carefully restore that painting to greatness, uncovering the good bits, the characters, the individual brushstrokes, until you're able to stand back and look at the whole thing again and appreciate it for what it was, a rich part of your life. Scattered pictures of the smiles you left behind. If you went through your loss alone, by choice or by force, the chances are you won't have that community of people around you to naturally share your memories with. I get it. I'm an only child from my mom and my dad. I'm estranged from my stepdad and live far away from mom's other rallies and the friends she had in life. So the only person I really have to remember things with is me. It never really occurred to me that that was strange, and if you've lived your life doing all your emoting by yourself, it might feel totally normal to live a loss by yourself as well. You might actively seek out that aloneness because it means there are fewer places where the memories crop up, creating emotional and physical spaces that sweep the thing away and cushion you against it. For a long time, that's how I lived, willfully not looking at the things because it hurt too much. If I'd have been part of Robin's family of orators, I'd have probably shriveled into a prune and died out in the corner, gathering dust while they all got on with reliving the joy of her wonderful nan. My family, on the other hand, aren't really big storytellers, and there's a lot of pain in our history, so I can understand why. I think everybody just preferred to look forwards and hope everything was going to be okay, which is a long-winded way of saying that how comfortable you feel memorializing the person or thing you lost is going to be roundly unique to you and yours, and if you come from a situation where sharing wasn't really on the menu, it might feel really alien and unsafe to call those things into focus, but with time and a bit of bravery on your part, it is possible, maybe even enjoyable. So how do you do it? Gently. You might start by seeing if you can notice the things that make you want to run away and hide, because knowing what they are means you can create purposeful life space to look at them and mitigate some of the emotional bombshelling a surprise bit of contact can bring about. I'll give you an example. It took me years before I could listen to You Got It by Roy Orbison, the song my mom and I used to sing in the car. When I was born, she had a pretty rough time of it with what I think we'd now call postnatal depression. Baby me cried and wouldn't eat or sleep, and we struggled to bond until one day she stood over my crib and looked at me and accidentally paraphrased Roy with, "Emma, whatever it takes, anything you want, anything you need, I'll do it." So that song always held particularly special significance for us both, and when she was alive, we would listen to it in the car and sing it at each other, and it was our shared things and a little sacred experience. You might have a little nostalgic something like that detached to your loss, a smell, a joke, a landmark you see on the journey to an old workplace, and you'll know that experiencing that thing can put you right back in the place you were before the loss, which, if you've been pretending the loss hasn't happened, is pretty heart-wrenching. So for a long time, I couldn't give Roy any airtime, but with work and a little gently, now I can, and when I hear it, I know that I was cherished, and cherished in an imperfect way. The mother-daughter relationship that we see on the telly isn't always how it actually is. But there are ways to find the best in that, work through the difficulties, and build something stronger than you might have had without the adversity. Just like loss. Yes, I got all of that from Roy Orbison. And how about actual physical things? When I go to friends' houses, I'm always amazed at the walls of photos and memories they have on display, shrines to their own friends and family. It's lovely to see, and if you're that way inclined, must feel so very wonderful and anchoring to have those people all around you. But in my little introvert space, I needed to disconnect from all that, so it's plain walls ahoy. And that goes for objects as well. I have a few things of my mom's strewn about: the beautiful old walnut radio she had passed down when her own father died, the giant stuffed hippo she sewed for me as a baby. Well, for a while, these things were harder to get around, real tear jerkers, but I think through having them nearby, I've been able to sometimes get back to that place where the memories detached to them reside. Seeing the radio in my mom's house covered by a cloth in case it got marked, or me laying next to Hippo as a kid when he was the same size as me. Allowing myself to go back to those places has been a safe way to explore the memories and feel comfortable with them again. And what's the prize at the end of the tunnel of discomfort? You get to continue your relationship with a thing or person you lost on your own terms. Sure, they might not be physically there with you, but the effects they had on your life live on, and that's the greatest memory of all.